All right, so folks, we're going to begin. Good afternoon. I say good afternoon. Oh, that's much better, class. All right. So welcome today, day 3 of Spring Fling, Wine and Wellness Edition. Anybody here for the first time? Just want to see, show of hands, anybody first time? Or, well, you've been here the previous days. Anybody here for this particular moment for the first time at what Dr. Want? All right, so a bunch of hardcore veterans. Thank you again for coming out today. Okay, appreciate it. Appreciate the support. So again, that means that most of you probably know me already, but I'll just do a little short introduction. My name is Mike Gallagher. I'm a certified lifestyle educator. I've been in the nutritional industry for almost 20 years. I'm here during these events, these wellness events, to help answer any questions that you have and to give these talks about different conditions. And just to show you what's really going on out there, okay? Give you the real scoop. So today, Dr. Weiner wanted me to go over the heart, cardiovascular, okay? And this is such a wide scoping topic, so we have a lot of information to go over in a very short period of time. So if you could just hold your questions till after we're done on that, okay? But yes, we have a lot of information to go over. So a few months ago, February is National Heart Awareness Month, right? So just a few months ago, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I did not hear about this whatsoever in the news or the media or the radio whatsoever. Not one single word mentioned the whole month of February. So just talking to a lot of people about this, usually this is talked about. Now on a local level, maybe schools talked about this, right, which is great. Just again, trying to bring awareness to the heart, National Heart Awareness Month. But I just thought that was very, very strange and odd that not one single national media attention was brought to National Heart Awareness Month, okay? So there's a lot of different conditions, a lot of different diseases, all have their roles and benefits, and I'm all for dumping a bucket of water on your head to bring attention to a specific disease or condition. But of all the conditions that are out there, the heart should be talked about the most because it's the number one killer. The number one killer is cardiovascular death and has been for the last 30 years. Nothing has changed. For both men and women, now it is the number one leading cause of death. So it just shocks me that it was not talked about at all in the month of February. Okay, 64 million people live with it, cardiovascular disease, every single day. And these are current stats, folks. 600,000 people die of heart disease every year in the United States. 1 in every 4 deaths is contributed to the heart. So it's a major issue. And again, we want to look at this on a much broader level. So yes, we are concerned with people who have heart attacks and stents and congestive heart failures. Absolutely. But we also want you to, we're really going after the people on blood pressure medication, on cholesterol medication, okay? Which unfortunately, for people over the age of 40, is almost 80 to 90% of the population is on one of those two. And we have a lot of natural solutions for those. A lot of natural solutions. So we'll talk about those here in a moment. So it's very, very wide scoping when we're talking about the heart. Now, is there a connection with cholesterol? Yes. Yes, there is. 2 times the risk factor. People have heart disease. Okay? But we ask this question here. What percentage of people who actually have a heart attack actually have normal cholesterol? 50? Any other guesses? Yeah. So it is C. It's 50%. 50% of the population actually have a heart attack with absolutely normal cholesterol levels. Okay, so we always ask this question, what's more dangerous, the cholesterol or the medications that are being supposedly trying to help the cholesterol? So we know this is big business. How big? $20 billion a year on cholesterol-lowering medications, which we call statins, statin medications. So that's your Lipitor, that's your Crestor, that's any medication out there that supposedly lowers cholesterol. By the way, 10 years ago, that number was 10 billion. It's more than doubled in the last 10 years. 10 years before that, that number was 5 billion. So in 20 years, cholesterol-lowering medications have gone from $5 billion a year industry to 20 billion a year. That's just the United States. That's not even the whole world. That's just the United States numbers. So it's big business, folks. It's big business. So with the medications come the side effects, possible side effects. So these are all of the possible side effects from Lipitor. But pretty much any cholesterol-lowering medication has these side effects. So this is right out of called PDR. PDR stands for Physician Desk Reference. Any healthcare professional has access to this. So whether you're a medical doctor, whether you're a pharmacist, or anybody that we work with, we recommend this. Dr. Weiner has this. Jamie Dorley has this. It used to be the size of a very thin notepad. Now it's the size of a telephone book of the side effects from every medication. Okay? So if you are on a statin medication, these are the possible side effects. You can Google this if you have internet access, but this is what we recommend that you look at before you go on any medication, is look at the side effects. Most people have no idea how dangerous cholesterol and lower medications are. And of course, they go through these very quickly on the ads. Very quickly. My personal favorite is death as a side effect. You could die. Music's playing, people dancing, going through flowers, and puppy dogs and butterflies. Could die from that drug. All right? But this is on the side effects of statins. So I'm just going to read this because most people only might know one or two of these. They've never heard all of them with the statin medications. And that's what we want to do. We want you to be informed. So abdominal pain, abnormal heart, allergic reactions, memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's from taking your statin drugs, cholesterol-lowering meds can cause Alzheimer's, folks. Arthritis, back pain, bronchitis, calcium deposits, chest pain, congestive heart failure. So you're taking a drug that's supposedly helping your heart can actually cause you to have congestive heart failure. Constipation, type 2 diabetes. In fact, there are many studies now that are saying if you've been on cholesterol-lowering medication for more than 5 years, the majority of people will get type 2 diabetes. It will cause it. Most people don't even know this. Most pharmacists don't know this. How do I know that? Because I work with pharmacists, and when I show them this exact slide, they say, I never knew that. So how is the pharmacist going to tell you about the possible side effects from taking the medications that you get from a pharmacist when he doesn't even know that? He or she doesn't even know that, the side effects. Right? Diarrhea, dizziness, fluid retention, gas, headaches, indigestion, infections, inflammation, insomnia, sleep issues, joint pain, liver failure, muscle aching or weakness. That's usually what people notice the first from taking your cholesterol medication. Muscle pain and achiness. Nausea, rash, sarcopenia, which means muscle wasting. Muscle wasting. Stomach pain, urinary tract infection, and weakness. Sign me up. Looks like a great medication right there. You laugh. Yep, ask your doctor to prescribe Lipitor. But unfortunately, as I said, almost 75% of the population over the age of 40, unfortunately, are on a cholesterol medication, and then they wonder why they feel worse. They wonder why they feel worse, okay? So a medical doctor will never mention the side effects, okay? I was at a medical doctor conference a few weeks ago. Not one time during 8 hours did they even mention one side effect. During 8 hours, not once did they mention side effects. The pharmacist will only mention a couple side effects only if you ask them. Only if you ask. They only mention a couple. They don't have time to go over all this, folks. They just put it right in the bag, insert. Yep, just read if you like. Okay? Because they don't have time. They literally have 60 seconds to fill every script coming through their place. 60 seconds. Okay? So, is this really the help? Is this really the answer? And the reason why you feel most of these side effects, especially the muscle pain and muscle achiness, is one reason, and that's the depletion of a very important ingredient called CoQ10. CoQ10 is an antioxidant. It's important in the mitochondrial energy production of your cells, where energy is made. And there's really no controversy over this. It's been proven at least 40% reduction in CoQ10 if you are on these cholesterol-lowering medications, 40%. And I've seen some recent studies that say that number is much higher. But we'll say 40% for right now, okay? And there's numerous studies that show and verify this. In fact, here's a study, goes back to 2005. So a study published in a legitimate medical journal, patients with high levels of cholesterol, no evidence of heart disease, were given Lipitor. Put on Lipitor. 71% of them, folks, developed a problem that goes with heart failure. I don't have any heart problems. I have high cholesterol. They're going to put me on this medication, cholesterol Lipitor, and 71%, 3 out of 4, started having heart problems that goes with heart failure. They then gave half the group, they gave them 300 milligrams of CoQ10, okay, and they were able to save half of them by just putting them back on a high dose of CoQ10, okay? Here's another study, and this is part of that muscle pain. So, in this study, 32 patients, 15 women, 17 men, treated with a statin, started having myopathic symptoms, muscle pain and achiness. So they broke the group up into 2 different groups. Half the group got 100 milligrams of CoQ10. The other group got 400 IUs of vitamin E. They had them fill out a pain life health questionnaire score, self-assessment. After 30 days, here's what they reported. The group getting the CoQ10, the pain dropped by 40%. 40% reduction in pain. Their pain interference with daily activities decreased by 38%, so their quality of life improved. Now, the group getting vitamin E for this particular study didn't see any benefit at all, so it was basically placebo. Okay? So just giving someone CoQ10, if you're on cholesterol-low medication, should have some remarkable benefits in just a very short period of time. short period of time there. So how much is what we need? And again, this is the big problem because most people who take CoQ10 aren't taking enough of it, which we call therapeutic dosing, in order to get the health benefits. And what the published studies have shown is that you need to take 200 milligrams of CoQ10 of ubiquinol or 100 milligrams of ubiquinol, and we'll explain the difference here in a moment. They're both CoQ10s, but one's a little bit stronger on this. If you're on a statin, by the way, statins get the most press, the most publicity, but there's many other medications that also deplete CoQ10. Blood pressure medications deplete it, okay? Blood sugar medications like metformin deplete CoQ10, and antidepressants deplete CoQ10 as well, okay? So if you're on any of these, you want to be on 200 milligrams of CoQ10. 200. Is 100 enough? No, it's not. No, it's not. You need to be at 200. And it's so important that in 2 countries, not 2 counties, 2 countries, in England and in Canada, right now, folks, it is required by law. It is mandatory. If you are prescribed a statin drug, you have to purchase CoQ10 right along with it. That's how important it is. So if you don't believe me, you don't believe the studies, believe the fact that 2 countries require it by law. That's how important it is, folks. Yeah.
CoQ10, if you take a statin drug, isn't some countries that CoQ10's in with the statin drug, it's mixed in with it?
No, I don't know any other drug that's mixed it in. There are some reports that there is a drug company that has the patent on that, but they have buried it because they do not want that being known, because then that will open up a whole can of worms, and they don't want to add fuel to the fire. So I don't know of any drug in any world that actually has both in it. Okay? Okay. So with us at Nutritional Frontiers, we actually have several options on the CoQ10. So I just wanted to just cover the basis here for you on CoQ10. Okay, so we have it in chewables. Okay, so our chewables we call Power Q. Now these are 100 milligrams per chewable. Okay, we have samples in the back if you'd like to try them after we're done. Has a little orange citrus flavor to it. Again, so you need to take 2 a day. 2 a day if you're on these type of medications. Cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, antidepressant, 2 a day. And we have that in 30, 60, or 120 size. Then if you prefer, we have it in a soft gel. Okay? Soft gel. This is what I take every day. Now, I'm not on any medications at all, so I just take 1 a day. 1 in the morning. So we're just going to pass this around for you. People always say, what do you take? CoQ10 is one of the things that I take. It's very, very important nutrients, 1 a day. Okay? We have that in 2 sizes, 60 or 120. Then we have a triple strength one called Power Q600. Power Q600 is 300 milligrams of CoQ10 per chewable and 300 milligrams of dimethyl glycine, DMG, which I feel is the most important nutrient in the world. DMG does a lot of things. We'll talk about a little bit more here in a moment, but it will enhance the CoQ10. It'll make it much more absorbable. Now, I recommend the Power Q600 for major heart problems. And how do I define that? Heart attacks, stents, congestive heart failure, strokes, any of those serious issues, that's where I would recommend the Power Q600, 1 a day. Now, for more neurological issues, such as Parkinson's, we bump this up to 2 a day. At high doses, folks, for Parkinson's, high doses of CoQ10 has shown that it can slow down the progressions of Parkinson's by 44%. By 44%. There's no drug in the world that it can show those kind of results with no side effects. But CoQ10 is the most important supplement for someone with Parkinson's. 2 a day. 2 a day. Yeah. So the earlier we catch somebody with Parkinson's, the better we can be. If they're, deteriorating rapidly, there's only so much we can do. But if we catch it early enough, they will have an incredible life. Their quality of life will not suffer if they just do this one supplement. Okay? So 2 a day for many major issues like that, but 1 a day for the major heart problems. Okay. Then we have Ubiquinol. So this has been in the news a lot recently. So Ubiquinol is the active form of CoQ10. So ubiquinone has to convert to ubiquinol for your body to absorb CoQ10. So we skip this step in this process. And there are different reports out there how much more absorbable it is, but we'll say at least twice as absorbable, okay? So 100 milligrams of this is equivalent to 200 milligrams of the first one, of ubiquinone. So this is twice as strong, okay? And it's in a liquid capsule for you. So if you prefer this, we have it. So there's some companies out there that say ubiquinol is better, you only have to use ubiquinol, and there's other companies say ubiquinone is better. We're saying we give you both options, you decide whichever one you prefer. We have every option you want on CoQ10, okay? So we have both options for you on that, but it's at least twice as good. So you can't go wrong with any of these, just as long as you're taking it consistently every day. Okay, so if we just had to do one thing, CoQ10 would be it. Okay? All right, so I wanted to give you a different perspective today, folks. I wanted to show you the medical doctor's perspective on cholesterol, where they're being taught, where they're coming from. So this is actually in the medical doctor's journal. If we were going to medical school right now, becoming an MD, okay, this is what they're being taught. And have been taught this for the last 8 years. This is not new, by the way. It's called Adult Treatment Panel 3, or ATP3. It's by the National Cholesterol Health Institute, an educational program. What you're supposed to do, yes? So far.
It's just my own personal slant on CoQ10, and I take it every day. I've been doing it for 25 years. When I found out about it by a health food store over in Squirrel Hill. And the important thing about discovering about it, at that time, the store had the University of Texas had researched CoQ10 and its value. And they had passed out at the store these pamphlets about the research that was done, and it was phenomenal. They gave a story about a woman on the heart that had a heart problem, and they couldn't even get her out of bed. She was so weak. They had nothing else to do. So they said, let's load her up with CoQ10. After that, she could get out of bed, she could walk, she could go do her own shopping. That was good enough for me to purchase the CoQ10. And I've been using it ever since. I used to take copies of the research done by University of Texas, pass them out in the mills where I worked, pass them out to everybody that would want to listen. Anybody who wanted to listen, I talked about CoQ10. I said it's something they must be taking. I wasn't successful. There weren't a lot of takers. As you know, you could talk about something, but it's a hard sell, a lot of things. But I've been taking it. And my sister, who talked me into going to this place and getting it, she didn't take it, and she's passed away. You know. But I take it, and the group I worked with, everybody I worked with has passed away. But I'm still here. But I attribute a lot of it to CoQ10, a lot of it. But I listened to this presentation by this gentleman here, and I was just standing in the back, and I thought I'd hope you folks don't mind me just telling me my own personal walking of life with CoQ10. I found it to be really successful. And thank you for listening. I didn't mean to jump in like I did.
No
so.
problem. How old are you now?
I'll
If you don't mind me asking.
be 79.
79. See, you felt like 69.
No.
You want to say 69, but you jumped up there, 79, huh? All right. Well, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. God bless.
All my friends,
Yeah.
they're dead.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when that
But
happens.
they had two things that helped them through life all the way. I got to tell you, they smoked and they drank. That was what was going to keep them living a long time.
Yeah.
But it didn't work.
No. No, thank you for that. Okay. So, let's go back to this again. So, this is the way medical doctors are being taught now at med school. Okay? What they're supposed to do, and I emphasize that, supposed to do. If you sat down with the medical doctor first time, they're supposed to evaluate. They're supposed to look at your food, what you're eating, your diet. They're supposed to look at your stress. They're supposed to look at your exercise. Then they are supposed to take a blood test. And the second appointment, and only the second appointment based on your blood test, and after reviewing thoroughly those other three issues, then and only then are they supposed to write a prescription. Okay? Does that happen? No. Unfortunately not. It doesn't. So it somehow goes from the books to real world, and this message gets lost. But this is actually in the books. This is actually what they're supposed to be doing. All right? But we know, again, the system is flawed there. So this is the numbers. They know this down. They got this down, the numbers. So folks, we're looking at the levels on your LDL, the bad cholesterol there. They would like your LDL to be 100 or less. 100 or less on the LDL. Then on the HDL, the good cholesterol, they want that between 40 and 60. 40 and 60. Okay, so let's just average it out. Right now, they want your total cholesterol between 140 and 160, or else they're writing you a prescription for cholesterol medication. Okay? Doesn't mean you have to take the medication. They just have to write you a prescription for the medication, or else they can lose their medical license. Okay? So their hands are stuck in it. They're caught. Even if they don't believe in this, this is their rules and guidelines, even though there's actually no legit reason for this. Okay? So here's what happens. When our total cholesterol starts falling below 160, certain organ systems start falling apart. Okay? And the first couple, one is your brain. Your brain is 70% good cholesterol. Good cholesterol. 70%. Okay? So this is why there are many lawsuits against Lipitor for causing dementia and Alzheimer's, because we've lowered our cholesterol levels so low. Okay? Again, we talked about that with one of the side effects. Also, your hormones need to be above 160. After below 160 on your total cholesterol, your hormones start getting messed up, especially your sex hormones. Okay? So you see a lot of new advertisements, drug ads for men especially, low T. Do you have low testosterone? Okay? Low T, you need to take this testosterone shot, which, by the way, could cause cancer, but that's a little side note. Prostate issues, all kinds of problems. But because they've lowered our cholesterol so low, it now has all these other side effects, issues. Guess what? To sell more drugs. Other drugs, right? So it's this vicious cycle going on here. You know, it's very, very sad. Now, interesting, some pharmacists that I know, work with, graduated school in the 80s, pharmacy school, what they were taught with cholesterol in the 80s was only if your total cholesterol was above 300 would a medical doctor write prescription for cholesterol-lowering medication, okay, in the 80s. 10 years later, in the 90s, they lowered the standards to 250, okay? 10 years later, in the 2000s, they lowered it again to 200. Now, 2015, they want you to be between 140 and 160. And folks, people always say, why would the American Medical Association keep lowering the standards? Why are the standards this level? And I just tell them one simple reason, 20 billion reasons.
They're paid for by the drug companies.
That's right. So there's absolutely no proof. In fact, since they introduced Lipitor into the marketplace, has it lowered cholesterol? Yes. Has it lowered the risk of cardiovascular disease at all? Not even 0.0000001%. And we're spending $20 billion a year on it. 20 billion. Hasn't lowered it at all. Not one iota. Okay? One of my fellow reps in California, she actually had the opportunity to talk to one of the lead researchers of Lipitor. And what he told her was that Lipitor was never designed to be taken for more than 3 months. Never, ever to be taken for more than 3 months. And there's a really good book we have in the back called Serial Killer that documents the whole history of statins. So if you want more information to read about the whole history of this, that basically every single scientist on the FDA's board that disagreed with cholesterol and these procedures, they got basically pushed to the bottom of the building and basically got fired within 2 years. Anybody who voiced their opinion and spoke up against cholesterol and the need for statins. Also, there's 7 cultures around the world that they excluded when they did their initial statistical analysis for determining what is actual optimal cholesterol levels. And one of those cultures is the Eskimos. So the Eskimos, primarily all they eat is fat, good fat, for whale blubber, good fat. But Eskimos have the lowest cardiovascular rate in the world, even though they eat the highest amount of good fat. So the scientists and researchers for Lipitor were so stymied by this. They were so puzzled. They're like, how do we figure this out? We're just going to delete them, not even include them in this. That's how ridiculous this is. So again, if you want to read more about the cholesterol, that's a fabulous book back there, Serial Killer. Gets in a lot more of it, but I think you get the drift. Never, ever in a million zillion years would I ever take a cholesterol medication. Never. Totally ridiculous.
If they had their way, everyone, even kids, would be on statins.
That's right. So you got to fight the good fight out there. We know that. So here's some proof for you, right? It's an uphill battle, but here's some proof. All right, so what are the underlying causes? So we know what they are. There's no mysteries here, folks, right? Poor eating habits, too many processed foods, the bad foods, lack of exercise, smoking, right? The bad fats, not the good fats, no mysteries. I just wanted to show you this slide because, again, I think it's interesting. Perception is reality. So, just wanted to throw this out if you're not familiar with how much fast food costs these days. Big Mac extra value meal costs about $5.50. Burger King a little bit more. Your high-end coffees at Starbucks between $4 and $3, right? I didn't bring it up here, but how much is it for one of our super shakes or a whey protein per serving at normal price, not even on our sale price? It's $2. It's $2 for a meal. But there's 30 servings in a container. So you look at the price and you see the price is $60. Oh no, that's way too expensive. I can't afford that. Really? Because you're going to Mickey D's and it's 2.5 times that. But so you can afford that, that's crap, with no nutrient value whatsoever, but you're saying we're trying to give you something healthy, some good protein in your body, and you say you can't afford it. So we want people just to realize that when you break it down like that and show them the reality is, but they see that word, value meal. Yeah, right. Okay, so
Pack in a paper wrapper.
there you go. There you go. Okay, now this is very important. We get asked this question a lot. Tests. What's the best test out there? So this company was the first company to start testing a new way of looking at cholesterol. And it's called the VAP test, VAP. The name of the lab is called Atherotech. Okay, Atherotech. So what they've now determined is that there's actually even better tests than your typical HDL and LDL. And these are called ApoA lipoprotein. And then there's one called ApoB lipoprotein. So one's from your HDL, one's from your LDL. And these have shown to be a much, much better marker for heart disease than just HDL and LDL. Okay? This is not new. This has been in the published medical literature for over 8 years. It's just that there's no drug that will actually correct these markers. Guess what they've determined that can actually correct these markers? Your food and exercise. So unless there's a drug to fix the problem, there's no problem. So drug companies are scrambling to find this. This is the next big thing for drug companies right now. So more and more labs are starting to test for this. You just have to ask your doctor. So instead of him checking your HDL and LDL, you want to say, Doc, can you do me a favor? Can you check my ApoA and ApoB lipoprotein? First of all, 90% of medical doctors will be stunned and shocked. The majority of them don't even know what that is. Okay? So you right here, listening to this, you have more knowledge than a medical doctor has on cholesterol. Right here, right now. So just like in the last few years, we've asked you to tell your doctor to ask for your vitamin D levels checked. And more doctors are checking their vitamin D to become more standard procedure. On blood sugar, we've asked you to check your hemoglobin A1C. And more doctors are checking for that because that's a much more accurate measure of your blood sugar. This is the next level for cholesterol. ApoA and ApoB lipoprotein. That is what you want to get asked. And more labs are starting to put this as their everyday test. This company was the first to do it. But this is not new. Okay? So that's what you want to ask for on the test. Okay, so the solution. We talked about the problems. Here is the solution. Again, nothing mysterious here. Everything that we always talk about with pretty much every chronic health condition: eating better, exercising, reducing stress, detoxification, and then the supplements. If you don't do the first three, the supplements don't really work. That's why they're called a supplement. Supplementing your diet and lifestyle. Right? We can only take it so far if you keep eating Mickey D's every day. If you keep taking the things that are bad for you, you're spinning your wheels in neutral. So I always tell somebody, if you don't do the first three, it's going to take twice as long, and you're going to have to spend twice as much money on the supplements. It's your choice, right? That's as simple as we can make it. Okay, so the diet. Number one diet for reducing heart disease is the Mediterranean diet. And that is exactly what the diet is if you open up your brochures that each of you have. And if not, we have more here for you. Okay? It's nothing crazy. It's nothing exotic. It's lean proteins, chicken, turkey, fish, organic or grass-fed. Know your sources. If you do eat meat, fresh fruits and veggies, organic as much as possible, good fats, good seeds, good nuts. By the way, on the oils, anybody know the number one oil to cook with?
Coconut.
Okay. Coconut is right up there, but it's not the number one. Olive is right up there, but it's not number one. Bingo. Grapeseed oil, sunflower, all those are really good. All those are really good. But grapeseed oil, I've done extensive research on this. Grapeseed oil is absolutely the best of the best for reducing heart disease. And you can cook with it. High heat will denature it whatsoever. Grapeseed oil, organic grapeseed oil, or straight from Italy, straight off the boat. Coconut oil is right there, especially for the brain. Coconut oil is excellent, especially for the brain. So it's right there. Extra virgin olive oil, also excellent. But the best of the best, grapeseed oil, folks. Grapeseed oil. Okay? Okay. Just be consistent there. Exercise. Everybody's favorite, exercise. 150 minutes a week is what the research shows. Elevated heart rate, 150 minutes a week, okay? A lot of people look at that number and, wow, geez, that's a lot. I can't do that. So let's take a different approach. Can you give me 1 minute a day? Can you give me 1 minute? And that doesn't count racing to the refrigerator, okay? That's my little joke of the day. Then the next day, guess what? Give me 2 minutes. Guess what? The next day, give me 3 minutes. When you look at it like that, all of a sudden, you'll be closer to 150 minutes than you know. A lot of doctors I work with, for even the busiest people of all busy, they break it up into 10, 15-minute blocks a week for their patients. Okay? 10, 15-minute blocks. Something. Do something. Bodies were meant to move. A lot of people, all they do is sit all day long. Right? They sit. They sit at work. They sit at home. Right? Move. Your bodies were meant to move, not sit. Got to be active, folks. Got to be active. Okay, stress reduction. Reducing stress, very important. Stress has a huge role in every chronic health condition. I always say number one stress reducer is deep breathing exercise. Okay, so again, I always say go in a closed space where there's no sound, no noise, no light. Close your eyes, turn on the earplugs on, put the earplugs on if you have to. Just breathe in for a count of 10, breathe out for a count of 10. Try it for a minute, the next day do 2 minutes, next day do 3 minutes, up to 20 minutes. You will be very calm if you do this, right? Breathe in, breathe out. And guess what? It doesn't cost a penny. It's free. How about that, right? Pretty nice. Free, I like that. Okay, then we get into the supplements, right? So I spent a lot of time on the first things because, again, if you don't do the first things, these don't matter, folks. They don't matter unless you're doing everything, the whole program. Okay, so people say, what's the number one thing for the heart? This is it for us, called Cardio Stack. Cardio Stack, okay? So it's 3 ingredients put together into one: L-carnitine, DMG, and CoQ10, all put together. All 3 of these. So this would be for major heart problems, major issues. heart attack, stents, strokes, AFib, congestive heart failure, this would be it right here. So if you're not familiar with L-carnitine, it's a very powerful amino acid, has many different benefits. There are numerous studies will strengthen the heart. Sir, just pass that around for people to see it there. Okay, we listed there one study. You get the drift. DMG, I mentioned that earlier, dimethyl glycine. This is truly unique. It actually has a U.S. patent for treating all inflammatory disease. It will help lower homocysteine, which is a methylator. It will help with blood pressure. It will help with cholesterol. It has many, many, many benefits. I could do a whole talk just on that, but I won't today. But it actually improves oxygen utilization into your cells, which is extremely important because bacteria, viruses, and cancer cells and parasites cannot survive in an oxygen-rich environment. DMG is one of the few substances that does this. And it's a methylator. It's the master methylator. It will make any nutrient you take with it much better, much more effective. So it does thousands of different things. And lastly, CoQ10. Now, there's 100 milligrams of CoQ10 if you're taking this properly, which is 4 a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Is that enough if you are on statins? No, right? We need a little bit more. We need 100 milligrams more. So we still need to take CoQ10 separately, but now that bottle will last twice as long if you're using the cardio stack. So it's a month's supply if you're taking this 2 in the morning, 2 at night. But here's the thing that we want you to be aware of. So in the past, Dr. Weiner would recommend L-carnitine or max carnitine with other companies here. Just sell by itself, right? So what we did is we took what other companies sell just L-carnitine for, and you're getting free bottle of DMG and a free bottle of CoQ10. So this is really 3 times the benefit, okay? So that's how you have to look at this. So we went very aggressive on the price on this formula. So you look at the bottom and you say $48. Wow, that's a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot, but that's what other companies sell just L-carnitine for. So you're getting a free bottle of DMG, which normally costs $50 by itself. You're getting a free bottle of CoQ10, which normally costs at least $50. So you're getting $100 worth of free for $50. And then, of course, the discount on top of that. So this is a really, really powerful formula, and it actually is very priced extremely aggressively. So that's number 1. Number 2, ingredient power fuel. Power fuel. So this is a powdered drink. Tastes like lemonade, okay? Power fuel works on the mitochondria level for your cells. Again, going back to the energy production on your cells. Every single person that has heart problems has a deficiency somewhere in their mitochondria. So power fuel just basically rebalances it all. Rebalances it all, strengthens the heart, and gives you energy. Gives you energy. So the main ingredient in this is D-ribose, but it does also help support the adrenals. It also has some anti-inflammatories in there as well to help with inflammation on the back end. Now, there's a very famous cardiologist. His name is Dr. Steven Sinatra. Okay, Steven Sinatra, Frankie's little brother. Now, there's no relation to Frank. It's just an easy way to remember his name. Dr. Steven Sinatra has written several top 10 best-selling books. I believe the last count was 10. In fact, he just wrote a brand new one called The Great Cholesterol Myth. Dr. Steven Sinatra. He's one of the top cardiologists in the world, and he's a huge believer in nutrition and supplements. So Dr. Steven Sinatra mentions every single nutrient in his books that's in the power fuel, with the exception of magnesium. So sometimes they'll get a question with people, and they'll say, Mike, my cardiologist never mentioned power fuel to me that I should be using. And I always say back to them, you're right. Your cardiologist is not aware. There is one who is aware, and his name is Dr. Steven Sinatra. In fact, he's written 12 top 10 New York best-selling books. And then they look at me like, oh, really? Yeah. Wow. Maybe I should go read one of those books. Yes, you should. So he is a great reference to on his formula, power fuel, power fuel. But this also can do a lot of other things, chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. We've had some incredible results with fibromyalgia using power fuel, because the majority of time it is a mitochondria issue. And again, for all these, we're doing 2 scoops a day, 1 scoop in the morning, 1 scoop at lunchtime. But you can take this anytime for energy. There's no caffeine in this. You do not crash and burn. It's cellular energy, totally different. So instead of drinking that cup of coffee or caffeine drink, this is so much better for you. It's also great before a workout, pre-workout energy drink as well. We're working with several doctors who work with professional athletes who use this formula for their athletes as a great pre-energy workout. So a lot of different ways to use this, but for the heart, we're doing 2 scoops a day. This will be number 2 on the list. Okay. So here's putting it all together, the protocol. So for major heart disease, major heart problems, CardioStack, power fuel. So, and then the third ingredient, we have a couple options, right? So we can go straight magnesium. Magnesium is a very important mineral for your heart. Most people are absolutely deficient in it. Last study I saw, 90% in the United States is deficient in magnesium because it's found in green leafy vegetables and nuts like almonds and cashews. So you can go magnesium. That's the 3 highest forms of magnesium glycinate. So you hear Dr. Weiner mention magnesium glycinate all the time for the heart. We also added taurate and malate, also very beneficial for the heart. Or I prefer the minerals, because this covers all the bases, minerals. So it could not be, for the heart, could not only be magnesium, could be potassium, or it could be calcium, it could be other minerals, right? So this one covers all the bases. I prefer the minerals for the heart for major issues versus just the magnesium by itself. In this way, we got it all covered. But either one will work. We're doing 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. By the way, we're using a chelation process here on our minerals, and basically that means your body's able to absorb it. So the issue with minerals is that another word for mineral is a rock, and it's really hard for your body to absorb rocks. So we actually use a process called chelation, where it converts it from a mineral to a protein, and therefore your body then is able to absorb it. So that's what you should always look for on the bottles, chelated minerals there, okay? There's your CoQ10, either 200 of ubiquinone or 100 milligrams of ubiquinol, CoQ10. And last but not least, fish oil. Fish oil. Okay, we want to be at 2 grams a day of fish oil. And fish oil is broken down into 2 components, EPA and DHA. So you want to you want to add that up. For us on our omega-3D, it's 3 a day. 3 a day gets us to that 2 gram mark. So you can do any of these things for your heart, or you can do all of these things for your heart. But I tell you what, anybody who's had a heart attack, that is a life-altering experience. And most people who've had a heart attack who want to go the natural route, they usually do everything if they can afford it. But that's putting it all together for you. So this is, again, major heart issues, heart attacks, strokes, stents, AFib. This would be it right here. This is the most comprehensive formula nutritionally that you can have. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about fish oil real quick. Fish oil. So there are thousands of studies on fish oil, thousands, but this is my favorite study of all time. This was in JAMA. The date on this is 1995. And it showed that if you take 1 gram of fish oil, of EPA DHA, for 3 months, you can reduce your risk of heart attacks by 90%. 90%, just by taking fish oil. So when I show this to doctors, they can't argue with me on this. Medical doctors can't argue because this is in our own journal, JAMA. This is what their own peer-reviewed journal. They can't argue. They just never saw the study. They just never saw this. So it's my favorite study of all time. So 1 gram for prevention, but if you have a heart issues already, then we bump that up to 2 grams. So for any pain or inflammation, we're bumping that up to 2 grams. Okay. So we recently came out with a new way to test for fish oil. This is called International Standard Program. So in the United States, there is no testing standard for fish oil, so we have to go international. Okay, IFOS, International Fish Oil Standard. And on our fish oil, there's a 5-star criteria that they use. So you get a star for passing all World Health Organization testing components. You get a star for greater than 60% concentrate. You get a star for oxidation levels less than 75%. You get a star for PCB and dioxins less than 50%. So we meet every criteria you can use. 5-star rating, highest level you can have on our fish oil, our omega-3D. This is one of the strongest fish oils on the market. We have it in chewables, we have it in liquids as well. In fact, we also, on our website, if you check out our website, we actually have some of our testing that we've done. And this is very rare, folks, to actually put labs testing on your website, okay? But we are so confident in what we say, we guarantee what's in the bottle, that we're willing to put our money where our mouth is. Why? Because when we go to the labs to get them tested, they tell us you spend twice as much money testing your supplements than anyone else in the industry, and you test twice as many things as anybody else in the industry. So this is rare because our competitors now have access to these tests. So we open ourselves up. So if our product did not meet these label claims, they would let you know about it, right? They would let you know about it. So, but that's how confident we are. And again, if you go to our website, nutritionalfrontiers.com, you'll see some of these tests that guarantees we say what's in the bottle. Okay, so again, there's the different omega choices we have. Krill, omega-3D, the liquid, enteric-coated. EC stands for enteric-coated. That's if you don't have a gallbladder. Okay, if you don't have a gallbladder, you'll have issues breaking down fat. So it's a special coating that we use in that version. Okay. Or if you have issues where you burp up fish oil, you might still have a gallbladder, but it's just not, but it might be functioning properly. So that's where the EC comes into play. DHA chewables for kids, orange chewable. And if you're a vegetarian, we do have one called Omega Synergy, omega-3, 6, and 9. Has a blueberry yogurt flavor to it there as well as borage oil, flaxseed oil in that as well. So you can do any of these, okay? Now, going to the cholesterol. Our number one formula for cholesterol, now we've improved it. It's called Cholesterol Care 2. So this used to be in a twin pack box, an AM and a PM. We now converted this into just one bottle, okay? We had all the same ingredients that the last one has. So it has your plant sterols, including beta-sitosterol. It has polycosanol, has gugolipid extract. These are all plants that are researched to lower the bad, raise the good if we are focusing on cholesterol. And we added non-flush niacin to this, and we also added a little bit of DMG to this, dimethyl glycine for methylation. So we made it even easier to take. You do 2 in the morning with food, 2 in the morning with breakfast, 2 in the evening with dinner. Okay? So this is a 1-month supply. If you can just pass that around. And here's the key. It takes 3 months to change a lab test. Right? So if you are focusing on cholesterol, this would be a natural formula. If you're trying to get off of the statins, you can take both. You just want to work with your doctor, let them know what you're taking. You have the text sheets in the back of the handout. We have more over there as well. But this would be a natural solution for cholesterol. It just takes 3 months for the lab test to improve. By the way, that's how long the medication takes. 3 months. So if a medical doctor puts you on Lipitor, he doesn't test you again until at least 3 months later. So a person can't say to you, oh, the drugs work quicker. No, they don't. They take 3 months, just as this one does. 3 months. Okay? All right, last but not least, blood pressure. Okay, blood pressure. Number one formula that we have is 7 flowers. It's called 7 flowers because it is the it's 7 different herbs that have been used throughout Asia for centuries, over 2,000 years. This is the original recipe. There's only one source in the United States that makes this, and we have access to this, okay? There's other supplements that claim they're using variations of 7 flowers. They are not. This is the original recipe right here. So anything that lasted that length of time, 2,000 years, something must be working. And this has really stood the test of time. So it's our number one formula that we've helped many, many people with blood pressure on this. By the way, if you print out blood pressure side effects, it's twice as long as the side effects on on statins. Twice as long. And nobody has any idea. Nobody has any idea how dangerous blood pressure medications are. And most people are usually on 2 or 3 of them at a time. Yes?
If you are taking, say, Q10, omega-3s, magnesium, but you want to prevent heart disease, now take that cardiovascular you can take to prevent it.
Yeah.
Like you said,
If you're just taking for prevention, the cardiovascular, I would just do 1 or 2 a day. For prevention, yeah. Just 1 or 2 a day. If you have major issues, 4 a day.
These other 3 things would help prevent without the cardiovascular?
Yes, they would. All would help prevent. Yeah. All would help prevent. Okay? Let me finish this and then we're wrapping up here, right? So here's the thing well, let's back up, okay? If you're on blood pressure medication already, we want to dose this 6 a day. 3 in the morning, 3 at night. It will not interfere with your blood pressure medication. It will only complement. You just want to take it at least an hour apart from your blood pressure medication, not at the same time. We would then, as soon as you start taking this, we want you to make an appointment with your PCP, who prescribed the blood pressure medication to you. And the conversation you should have with your medical doctor is this, and you have to say it this exact way. Yeah, hi doc, I wanted to let you know I'm trying something natural for my blood pressure. Here's the literature on what it is. You want to bring him the text sheet. As my numbers improve, can you help me lower my medication? Okay? That is exactly the terminology that you want to say to a medical doctor. Trying something natural, you show it to him, and then you say, I want to lower my meds as the numbers improve. Okay? What we don't want you to say or do is, yeah, doc, I went to a chiropractor's place. He gave me some pills, not sure what they are, but I want to get off all my drugs. This happens every day. Okay? If you say that to a medical doctor, he will tune you out. He or she will tune you out, and sometimes he'll either increase your medications or put you on another drug just to spite you. Okay? Oh, yeah. Happens every day. So there's a right way and a wrong way to talk to a medical doctor. Most people talk to them the wrong way. You have to be in a very respectful manner. Okay? They will work with you if you work with them, and all they want to see is the numbers improve. That's the bottom line. They don't care how you get there. How do I know they don't care? Because we've helped thousands of people get off the blood pressure medication, and not one medical doctor has called us and interested at all in 7 flowers. Not one. Not one. Even though we've helped thousands get off of it. Okay? Now, once you get off of it, or before you start it, here's how we dose it. 6 a day. Just how we talked about. 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening. After a week, after 7 days, you check your blood pressure. Not every day, not 6 times a day. Okay? Once a week. Once a week. After a week, if it's improved to where it should be, we start lowering the dosage down to 4. After a week, we're still good, down to 2. After a week, we're down to 1. After that, down to 0. So 6, 4, 2, 1, 0 is the ideal way to take 7 flowers. If it hasn't improved, then we increase the dosage by 2. So in that scenario, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 is the max for 7 flowers. If you take 12 a day for a week of 7 flowers, and it does not improve your blood pressure at all, it is not for you. It will not work. We're not going to take this for 3 months and all of a sudden wake up and your blood pressure is improved. Okay? For majority of people, 6 works extremely well, especially type A, stressed individual. This has a very calming and relaxing effect. But the whole idea is to either increase it or decrease it by 2. Not stay at the same doses for years and years and years. So we want the body to start functioning back to where it should be. And this is how we do it. Now you say, why can't we, why isn't this on the label? Why isn't this on the tech sheet? Because the FDA will not allow us to put this on paper. Okay? Because then we're making health claims. So that's why it's not on the directions. That's why we can't anywhere on the label mention this. So that's why I'm telling you right now, this is how you take 7 flowers. And 95% of the people that buy 7 flowers take it the wrong way. They're not taking it correctly. This is how you should be taking it. Okay, so that's why we're having this conversation. Okay, so we put it all together for you folks. My time is up. I ran a little bit over. I appreciate your time. I will be in the back. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. Bye now. God bless.